This Chazar Zeichen Nishon Bachachetz Shag Rabbi Yehuda Masechet Chullin Daf Kuf Aleph. Zoknam Rabbi Yehuda name of Rav said if someone eats to get a nashav and a veiler, Rabbi Meir says chayav 2 sets of malchus. Chum says only chayav 1 set. The Chum agrees with Rabbi Meir. If he eats to get a nashav of an oila or of an ox that was sentenced to be stoned, and a shar niskel, then he would be chayav the 2 sets of malchus. In fact, who's the Tana that's the view of the Chum that holds that in the case of Isser Koil, when a second Isser is more inclusive than the first, we would not say the second Isser takes effect on top of the first Isser. We don't say that Isser Chal Isser. But if the Isser Koil is also more chumradik, we would say that the second Isser takes effect on top of the first. Who is that Shita? So Rav said it's Rabbi Yosef Glili of a Mishnah. The Mishnah says if a tummy person ate kodesh that was itself tummy or was tar, then he is chayav for eating kodesh while he is tummy. Rabbi Yosef Glili says if a tummy person ate kodesh that was tahor, he's chayav. But if he ate kodesh that is tummy, he's potter because he ate something that was already tummy. The Chum said to him, when the tummy eats kodesh that's tahor, as soon as he touched the kodesh, it became tummy, and yet you agree that he'd be chayav. So when he eats kodesh that's already tummy, it should be no different. The Gemara they asked, the Rabbanan seemed to have posed a very good, strong question according to Rabbi Yosef. So Rava said, if the person first became tummy and the meat of the carbon then became tummy, everyone would agree that he'd be chayiv for eating the meat because the tummy person eating kachim is chayiv kares. The machlekes is where the meat was first tummy and then the person became tummy. In this case, the meat was already also to be eaten as tummy kachim, which does not carry kares. The Rabbanan say that when the person becomes tummy, there's an isser koil since he now becomes also to eat even tar kachim. Therefore, the isser with kares takes effect even on the tummy kachim as well. Rabbi Yosef does not agree with the principle of isser koil, and therefore the isser of a tummy person eating kachim will not take effect on a tummy piece of kachim since it was already also to be eaten. We can see from over here that the Chum of our Mishnah is the view of Rabbi Yosef Haglili. In fact, the Gemara, Rabbi Yosef should hold that the isser of the tummy person should take effect because the isser of a tummy person eating kodesh is more chumradik in that he would be chayiv kares, as we find that he uses this logic elsewhere. And the Gemara Rashi said it may be that the isser of tummy kachim is more stringent in that the tumah cannot be removed from it by immersing it in a mikvah. Therefore, we can't say that one is more stringent than the other. For the Gemara, does Rabbi Yosef really not hold that where there's an Isser Koil, the second Isser takes effect on top of the first Isser? There's a brayso where Rabbi Yosef says that if a person did some melacha b'shoig on Yom Kippur that fell on a Shabbos, he has to bring a chatas to do melacha on Shabbos and another one for doing melacha on Yom Kippur. Whereas Rabbi Akiva says he's only chayav one chatas. We see Rabbi Yosef says that the second Isser does take effect where there's an Isser Koil. And for the Gemara, Rav in the name of Rabbi Yosef, the son of Rechanina, said we have to reverse the views of the brayso. Rabbi Akiva who says he's chayav 2 chatos, Rabbi Yosef says he's chayav only 1. Rabbi Yitzchak bar Yaakov bar Giyurei in the name of Rabbi Yochanan said, according to the view of Rabbi Yitzchak Glili, after we reverse the views, it's the Isser of Shabbos that takes effect, not the Isser of Yom Kippur. Therefore, if he was shoigi with regard to Shabbos and Mezer with regard to Yom Kippur, he would be chayiv b'nechatos. But if he was Mezer with regard to Shabbos and shoigi with regard to Yom Kippur, he'd be potter. Rabbi explained the reason is that the day of Shabbos is established and set from the time of Brias Ha'olam, whereas the day of Yom Kippur is determined by Bezdin. Rava asked, they both take effect at nightfall that Friday evening. So Lamaisa, at the end of the day, they're coming at the same time. How can you say that Shabbos comes first? Rather, Rava said, Rabbi Yechanan's statement was said regarding a year where there was a government decree against observing Yom Kippur. So what the Rabbanan do is they institute that Yom Kippur that year should be observed on a Shabbos, which prevented the guy from realizing that Yom Kippur was being observed, even though it was not the true date for Yom Kippur. It was regarding such a year that one would only be chayiv for Shabbos, not for Yom Kippur, because in truth it was not even really Yom Kippur. Ravin and others who came from Eretz Yisrael to Bavel said like Rava as well. Okay, the Gemara continued. The Mishnah said, "Amar Rabbi Yehuda, b'haloi mibnei Yaakov v'chulu." A brayso says they said to Rabbi Yehuda, the pasuk doesn't say that the Bnei Yaakov can't eat the Ger Hanosha. It says the Bnei Yisrael can't eat the Ger Hanosha. But we're not referred to as Bnei Yisrael until we stood at Har Sinai. This proves that Allah Ger Hanosha was first given to us at Har Sinai, but it's written in the parashas of Yaakov's fight with the Malach to teach us the reason for the Yisr. The fact that Gemara Rava asked, the pasuk says, "Vayisu Bnei Yisrael es Yaakov Aviyam," and this took place before Har Sinai. It says Bnei Yisrael. And this took place well after the incident between Yaakov and the Malach. And at that time, Hashem had already given the name Yisrael to Yaakov. That's why they were called Bnei Yisrael at that time. But it's again at the time of the Maisa of the Ger Hanosha, he was not yet called Yisrael. The son of Rava Yisrael Rashi, if so, the Ger Hanosha should have been usher from the time that he got the name Yisrael. And for Temar, Rashi said the Torah was not given to us at different times. The Isser would either have to take effect at the time of the incident or at Matan Torah. Since there was no Bnei Yisrael at the time of the incident, the Isser does not take effect until the time of Matan Torah.